Hello and welcome to a new video. In today's video we're going to take a look at one of the most broken Pokemon that's about to be released in Pokemon GO, and I have not seen really anyone talk about it. I'll enter Tarantula as well as Spidops. This Pokemon is going to be released this Tuesday, so tomorrow when you see the video immediately. And it's a Pokemon that you don't want to miss out. In the Enchanted Hollow event, this Pokemon is going to spawn. And there's going to be some bonuses towards it. We're going to take a look at this Pokemon, why it's so broken, why it's so strong. And we have some top teams with this Pokemon as well later on. So definitely stay tuned until the end of the video. And of course, if you enjoy this type of videos, feel free to leave a like, subscribe, and we can move on here to Spidops. This Pokemon is going to be fantastic. We're going to have, during the entire event, a double XP bonus. We're going to have 2 times Allure Module Duration, which is going to be crazy good, as well as increased chance of encountering Shiny Paras and Stantler. And of course, we're gonna get Tarantula, a Pokemon that is a Route 1 Pokemon in Paldea. It's a Pokemon that's going to be very much important for PvP, and with Spidops, we're going to get here a Pokemon that you're going to not want to miss out on. This thing is going to be amazing, and we're gonna see later on why. Anyway, how do you encounter it? Just in the wild. It's something that you don't really see that often in events nowadays anymore, but you're going to have an increased chance of getting them in Lossy Lure modules. You're going to have an increased chance of getting those Pokemon here that are going to be featured throughout the event. But generally, you can also still get it if you just walk around and get the Tarantula outside of that. So like it's going to be still available for you, which is going to be great because Tarantula is going to be a Pokemon you can't miss out on. Let's take a look here real quick as well. Other options here are actually 1-star rates. I didn't really know that. I might actually look into trying to do this then. That's going to be very, very interesting. I've completely forgot that this one was in rates as well. But Tarantula is going to be a Pokemon that you definitely want to have with that. It's a Pokemon that is going to be very, very strong. And yeah, you can get it through it. I might do that in order to showcase it early. Didn't actually know that beforehand. There's some field research that they can do. We don't know, of course, exactly what they're going to be. There's going to be research you can pay for tier, or you can get some encounters as well. You're going to get 2 instances. You're going to get a Mossy Lure. You get 3 Lucky Eggs if you're interested in this. And of course, the Shiny boost there. But what we see as well is going to be Tarantula in, or like the Spidops in the main CS games. This Pokemon learns a lot of interesting things there. This Pokemon is usually, of course, a pretty bad Pokemon. If we're going to take a look at the stats here for main series games, we see that it's quite bad. But the best stats are the defense and the special defense, which is going to be very important, of course, for Pokemon GO, because as bulky as it can, it's kind of the best way to go with it. Also very nice to see is a low speed stat. Those speed stats are also very important for Pokemon GO PvP. You see a lot of Pokemon that are very high up in the rankings have a very low speed stat. I will make a video towards it. I have a list planned of like videos I want to do basically as well. So like, I want to make a series towards like anything that you kind of need to know about Pokemon GO PvP for you to kind of learn and climb yourself there. But basically a low speed stat means also that you have a lower attack stat. Speed goes on both the defense and the attack in Pokemon GO, which means that if you have a Pokemon that has a low speed stat, generally you're going to have like good defenses. It's going to be more impactful because speed's not getting applied as well to the attack stat there. It's going to be less impactful for the stats generally, and then defense stats kind of are a bit more important for it. So that's why you see a Pokemon like Carbink being very high up, or the Bastiodon, or the Corsola. Basically, all the Pokemon that are slow are very good in Pokemon GO PvP. Anyway, we're going to see here that this Pokemon would learn the signature move of Silk Trap. This would be an interesting move that could be added in the future. But, okay, that's great. Thanks for that. But basically, what does Pokemon learn currently? We're going to see here it learns the best kind of move combination it could learn. We're going to have added onto this Pokemon Shadow Claw, Bug Bite, as well as Counter. Those moves are all great fast moves. They're all great fast moves in their own kind of way. What we have here is for Shadow Claw, the best for energy generation. Gives you good coverage against the ghost types, which bug type Pokemon usually cannot hit. With Bug Bite, you're going to have a move that does a lot of damage per turn, which you see there as well. 4.8 is higher than Counter or the Shadow Claw. It doesn't generate as much energy as the Shadow Claw, but it's a one-turn fast move, which is generally considered the best type of fast moves. It's going to add up a lot with the stab typing there as well, because it's a pure bug type, the Spidops there. And with it, it's going to be an interesting alternative option there. And then we have Counter. Counter is going to be interesting. While on paper, it's the worst for energy generation and the second worst for damage, this move gives you great coverage against Pokemon that you might otherwise would not be able to hit. looking at you, Bastion. And so I think all of them actually have some potential play. The most common one, by far, is going to be Shadow Claw, giving you good coverage against ghost types that you usually wouldn't be able to hit as great, as well as you're going to be able to get energy as fast as possible, which helps you out with the charge moves. And those are amazing. What we will have here is Rock Tomb as a move on this Pokemon. You all know on how broken Rock Tomb is. So I don't really need to talk about it that much too often here, because it's going to have a guaranteed chance of decreasing the opponent's attack by 1. Then, what do we have otherwise? X-Scissor. You see the fast move counter already. With Shadow Claw as the fast move, you need 5 fast moves only to go for the X-Scissor, giving you a very spammy bait move there in order to still do a lot of damage though. It basically does the same amount of damage as the Rock Tomb as well, even though it's way less energy because of the stab on it. Next up, Grass Knot. Gives you great coverage in the current meta, hitting those ground type Pokemon for super effective damage. Mostly you see the least amount of usage of it, but otherwise you're going to have your Lunge, which is going to be also an interesting thing there as well. Lunge is going to be, of course, a very good move for this Pokemon. Going to allow you to debuff opponents, which is going to be great. So that's going to be fine. And this is going to be the most common move. If you're going to go up here a little bit, we see here the stats as well. Overall ranking 2020. This is alright. This is not crazy bulky. The thing which makes it crazy bulky is the charge moveset. This is the Rock Tomb as well as the Lunge, which you see as well on top. We have here this Pokemon ranked at number 49 for the Open Great League, and I'm not even too sure if this is always, at least, the ideal moveset for this Pokemon. Because what you're going to have as an option as well is to go ahead and go for, for example, the X-Scissor, which is going to get you better pacing, which is going to have you better scenarios in the Zero Shield scenario if you want to go for that. And so it's not even that clear if Lunge or Rock Tomb is going to be the best combination. I do think it is going to be the best combination like this. I do think there is still play for X-Scissor, definitely. But I do think it's going to be the best combination like this, because Lunge is a very, very strong move that only a few Pokemon actually have access to in the current meta, and no one is really good because they all are way too squishy. You have now a Lunge on a Pokemon that has a great fast move, a great secondary charge move, which is perfect for coverage, and great bulk. And this is going to change Spidops for the GO Battle League, and that's why this Pokemon is so important to get. And Rock Tomb on a Bug-type Pokemon is ridiculous, by the way, because if you think about what are the weaknesses of Bug-type Pokemon, it is Fire and Flying. Of course, Rock as well, where we would have access to the move Grass Knot for it, and as well a counter fast move. But you have mainly Fire and Flying type Pokemon that are an issue for you. But you have enough bulk to survive Incinerates or whatever from a Talonflame to still get to at least a Rock Tomb to then get you a shield advantage. So, you're never gonna really be lost with this Pokemon is what I'm thinking. Scissor is going to be most likely one of the worst Pokemon to encounter for this Pokemon here itself, based on the key losses, but I think this Pokemon is going to be amazing. And we can take a look here at different kind of movesets as well that it could learn and kind of compare that. Here we're going to have Shadow Claw and Lunge, then we have Bug Bite and Lunge, then we got Shadow Claw and X-Scissor, and then we have Counter and Lunge. Counter is, again, more specific, but what we see with that is on how the move, the updates kind of change here. Again, as we expected, that the Shadow Claw version is going to be the best one, generally speaking, because it's going to be very good against the Pokemon that usually bug types can't hit. It's going to be good against Pokemon like Tinkaton. It's going to be good against Pokemon like the Jellicent, or the Dedenne, or the Annihilate, which usually are not really threatened by bug type damage, and those are now going to be threatened by the Shadow Claw damage. Next up, we're going to have the Bug Bite version here, which is still going to be very strong, and picking up KOs against something like a Ferret, which can help you out quite a bit as well, but generally considered a bit weaker. Then, next up, we're going to have the X-Scissor version. This is what I'm kind of talking about. You have now the option to get to a move a little bit faster, which can help you out in certain matchups. In this case, still, Lunge is going to be a bit better, just because of the debuff that's guaranteed. But then we're going to have on the right side here the counter variant, and what we see here is you win against Bastion and all of a sudden, which before was one of your hardest losses. You win against Wigglytuff, you're gonna win against Empoleon, which before would have been able to hardball your charge moveset. You win against Ferret. As you're gonna see here, this Pokemon has, in a different kind of ways, so much potential. And we're gonna take a look here at the two-shield scenario real quick as well, where things are going to shift. Again, we're going to have here the standard moveset, where the Shadow Claw version is just the best one. You're going to have otherwise, the other versions are just more gimmicky. I guess the X-Scissor one can have a little bit of play, but then we see Counter again. We see that, again, some of those Pokemon that you would usually not be able to hit, you're going to be able to win now. And if we want to take a look at the general meta and how the meta overview is for this Pokemon, we're going to see that you want to win 24 wins here, you have 17 losses with this thing. in the 1 shield scenario, which is very, very good. 2 shields, you're gonna look a little bit worse with it. You have 19 wins and 22 losses. But if you're gonna take a look at the Pokemon that actually destroy you here, Theo, weak to Rock Tomb. Morpeko, weak to Lunch as well as Exeter. Murkrow, weak to Rock Tomb. Greninja, weak to Exeter and Lunch. Talonflame, weak to Rock Tomb. Charizard, weak to Rock Tomb. Weak stuff, we cannot really hit that much. Rock Tomb is the best one kind of against it. Same goes over the Fortress, same goes over the Dunsparce, same goes over the Bastion where you need counter, so you use kind of for the Scissor. But the actual hardest answers to this Pokemon, and a lot of the answers to this Pokemon, are actually weak to the charge moveset of this thing. Which means that if you are energy up, you still threaten your hardest answers. And that's something that not a lot of Pokemon can do. And Spidops is going to be such an amazing Pokemon for the reason. If we're going to take a look here as well in the Matrix mode, we're going to check out the different kind of movesets that we saw already before. We're going to see like the power of this Pokemon. You're going to be able to beat Annihilate, Altaria. Like Altaria as a bug type Pokemon, you're going to be able to beat, which just doesn't make sense to me, but of course it doesn't work. You're going to be able to beat Azumarill. You're going to be able to beat something like a Blastoise, a Chargebug, a Corsola. Like you beat the top meta. And that's the thing as well, you beat the top 7 meta Pokemon of the Great League right now, which is ridiculous for a new Pokemon that is a bug type especially. But the moveset is the key here, and we're gonna see as well, Shadow Claw version is clearly the best here, the other ones are more of a gimmicky ones here. Now, we're going to take a look at some top teams here that I would recommend you. For example, Spidops Stellar Water. This is going to be very straightforward. You have a lead that's going to be able to counter grass types. Grass types, generally speaking, are not that common in the current meta. But you have a lead that's going to be weak here to rock type Pokemon. And for that, we have 2 answers in the back. The only rock type that you don't really have to be scared of is going to be that Credilli, which you're going to be able to deal with the Lunch, which is going to be perfect. Blastoise here is going to be able to counter, of course, Talonflame, of course, something like a Bastion. Same goes for Greninja, but Greninja is also having the weakness to fighting, which you're going to be able to counter with Spidops. The only real weakness here for this team is, in my opinion, the Wigglytuff mainly, which doesn't even show up here directly, but Wigglytuff can be a bit of a weakness for this Pokemon, for this team here. I guess Blastoise can deal with it as well. But another Pokemon that could work out cool in the back here could be Empoleon. Empoleon is going to be weak to ground and fighting, which Spidops is going to be able to resist, giving you a bit better play against some of the other Pokemon here. And this is kind of what I'm thinking. There's a lot of kind of play with this team here generally. And again, the biggest weakness is going to be Morpeko, which, if you would have an energy advantage, or if you would have Exeter there as well, you're going to be able to kind of deal with it as well. It's not going to be the biggest answer. And like, oh yeah, it's Alternative actually that you want to run, but it's still going to be a bit more tricky to play against them as well. Steelix is going to be a bit of an issue, but again, you have actually coverage against it with Blastoise as well as Empoleon. Third, you have still alright coverage against it as well. It's not too bad. Yeah, this is going to be team number 1. We're going to run it in the lead. But I do think that the elite matchup is actually the one where you can now want to have it all the time in. As a say-so, this team makes a lot of sense as well here. Look at this. This is going to be my legend team, but instead of the third, I have the Spidops here, which is again going to be able to bait out fire-type Pokemon, because most fire-type Pokemon are currently fire-flying because of Mud Slappers being everywhere. And then we have Lurantis in the back that is going to be able to deal with a lot of other things here. As you're going to see, Lurantis is going to be able to deal with the Gastron, it's going to be able to deal with the Azumarill, it's going to be able to deal with the Marowak. This is going to be a very good Pokemon here generally to combine them to. Spidops as a safe-stop is going to be perfect. It's going to be able to bait out the fire type, so Lurantis can sweep endgame. It's going to be able to bait out also the flying type Pokemon while still having access to a Rock Tomb. So like, this Pokemon is going to be perfect glue here for this team, and I do think this is going to be the best way of playing this Pokemon. Entering the next team is going to be Stunfisk, Primeape, and Spidops. This time around, we're going to use it as a closer, and even there it's going to be very, very strong. Afterwards, we still have one more team left, where we're going to take a look at a completely different moveset for Spidops, but as you can see here, Stunfisk is perfect together with the Spidops. Spidops is going to be, generally still weak to like flying type Pokemon. Stunfisk can deal with that. And as you see there as well, there's the only real weakness here, I guess, is again going to be Wigglytuff. Wigglytuff is going to be a bit more of a tricky Pokemon to deal with, but it's not even that bad. It's really not that bad. And as you're going to see here as well, the Wigglytuff is the only real weakness to this team. And that's it. And Spidops is such a good Pokemon in this meta again that I would recommend you just to get this Pokemon immediately. Like, it's such a good Pokemon, so easy to get. Here, this is going to be the final team here with our one showcase, but we have Counter on this Pokemon. Why do you have Counter? Because we have a Raconite here, a Pokemon that is also part Bug type, of course, that has no play against Bastion. And we kind of want to try to bait it out here. I don't think that Corsa is the best Pokemon in the lead for it, but it's a Pokemon that, I don't know, like, there was no real better answer in my opinion for it. There was no real better Pokemon that could deal directly with the Bastion and then bait this one out. It needs to deal with the Talonflame. I guess Clodsai still works out as well though. Clodsai actually does work out for it quite well, so maybe Clodsai would be even a better lead matchup here for it. Clodsai lead, Spidops stays up, and then the Rockman in the back. I think that would work out perfectly as well, because Clodsai still has the Rock Tomb, like the Rock move as a coverage for the flying type Pokemon. Spidops is going to be able to bait them out, but also Clodsai is the best answer to the Bastardon, which you kind of want to bait out with the Spidops so you can sweep endgame with the Rockman. And so this is going to be it for this video. Spidops is a Pokemon that you want to get. It's a Pokemon that you need to get, and it's a Pokemon that's easy to get. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and I will see you then. Bye bye.